restarting the stream just to see, because I know that when we were doing the other one, we were having so many problems. The sound is delayed again. The sound is delayed again. I mean, it's just running a second behind. I also don't understand why this doesn't update. When I post, it puts in like previous titles.
It does that movie.
No, I know. I updated the menu command, so it should be good. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, with how much fish we have, it might be a good idea.
gonna drain some capers, and capers are they're actually little berries, but they're soaked in a salt brine, so they're very salty. They have a similar flavor actually to olives, but with a more acidic flavor. So kind of cross between, I would say, like a lemon and an olive in terms of flavor. And they're tiny, typically. You can see the size now as he drains them out. You want to rinse them in order to get that brine off of them, and they're pretty soft.
I'm just gonna. Actually, no. I'm gonna leave these whole. They're small enough. But if I chop them too much, I want some of the inner brine to stay in there. So. Oh, shut up, Alan. Baseball's the best.
Maybe not a Dodgers fan.
Yeah. Let's see. So what's next? So olive oil, thyme. Yeah, I think one bowl for this will be good. Yeah. What's that?
Do you want a separate bowl for that?
Yes, please.
The capers and the olives are basically going to make a sauce for everything with some lemon juice and oil.
Brown butter.
Or butter, rather. We're going to add some red onion and garlic. Again, I'm pretty light onion and garlic. So, we decided to add that to the recipe. We just thought the flavors worked well with it.
My touch is like a spinal tap. I got the character and presence that the idols lack. Coming from a mile away, cause you're a fake. Welcome to the city that can't sleep, cause what it sees when it's awake. Attack, I got the cannon, crumble and crack, you rock a hanger.
Yeah, there's not as many vegetables as we would normally use in a stir fry. So, this will add some of that extra flavor.
Smart move to get lost in a dark room when it costs your life. Yeah, it's difficult. Whenever I bring out my temper, you got a spotless mind, but your sun won't shine forever. It's typical. Yeah, bring out my temper. I got a spotless mind, and I see you shine forever.
Sharpened my knife not long ago, so hopefully I won't be crying much. Get rid of that quickly. Hey, what's up, Durs? Welcome. And welcome, Holiday to Hospital. I should make crepes sometime.
Yes.
We could do that. We've got a griddle, and I actually have a really simple crepe batter that I can use, but not today.
So our water is going already. I'm going to put our noodles in there. We chose to go with spaghetti noodles tonight. If you'd rather go with something else, that's fine. We just like the kind of thinner noodles that goes well with the flavor. No. Yeah,
So, Mrs. Biscotti went all in and got like a freaking giant piece there. 2 pounds. Seems like a lot more than that. And then a whole nother fillet too. So.
That's 2 pounds of cod, which, especially since we are also cooking noodles, is like way more than we need.
Yeah.
But I did one of like my cardinal sins, which was going to the market without a list, and was kind of disoriented. and this is what happens. But we're gonna have food for the weekend. I asked like the guy behind the counter what fish was good today, which I do trust the market that I went to. So he gave me a good recommendation. It smells good. It looks really nice. So that just is what happened today. It's been that kind of day.
It's been that kind of week.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna chop this up a little bit, help it cook faster, and just kind of go into our stir fry a little bit better. Otherwise, you could cook the fish whole and kind of drape it over after you're done cooking. But I guess I'm gonna go about it this way.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Just to say, like whitefish, like cod or halibut or tilapia, is going to hold up well to this application. If you cut it into slices or cubes like this, it's going to hold its shape really well. So that's why we chose this type of fish, was knowing that we were going to be cooking it this way. Yeah, I didn't even think about the fact we were cooking spaghetti and I wore a Mario shirt, but
That's pretty great.
it has all rounded out nicely.
How was everyone's week? We haven't really been streaming this week. How was everyone's 4th of July? Anyone do anything fun? Anyone make any really good food or go to a fun barbecue?
Fireworks.
Fireworks? Okay, so lots of fish. Yeah, please.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of food for the weekend.
I'll do the time on this because that goes into the fish, but I'll need to clean it before. Is this already been washed?
Yeah. Do you just want a new cutting board?
Sure.
We're getting a new cutting board because we just got the fish up. We should have done that last and didn't think of it. But we're going to cut some herbs that are going to go in the fish, but we might not use all of them. And then we also have to cook or make the biscuits and stuff, which we want a clean cutting board. So you don't want to cross-contaminate stuff, especially with any kind of meat. So we got a fresh cutting board here. Oh, hello.
Oh yeah, you can leave it uncovered now.
Huh?
You can leave it uncovered now. Just gonna work with some thyme here. Just trying to remove some of the leaves off the stem. You're not gonna get them all, but the stem itself is a bit woody and just not the best texture. So you're just trying to get some of these leaves off. You could also use oregano in this recipe. You don't want anything overly strong. I'm a huge fan of rosemary, but that would probably be a little too potent for this dish. So just
Tarragon too.
yeah. So just kind of be mindful of what you're using and what it's going with.
Even just parsley would be fine.
Yeah.
We have time left over from, I think, also the rice salad.
Mm-hmm.
So we just are using what we have. We have some dried oregano that we both
Yeah. So something with that too is I'll need to add this in later than I normally would. If you are using the dried herbs, you could go ahead and add them in earlier in the cooking process. But when using a fresh herb like this, it's better to wait a little bit because otherwise it'll become a little bitter and burn.
Especially with the high heat that we're using, if we were making like a soup or something that we're using a lot quickly. We use fresh herbs for a long period of time.
And even within this, I'm being kind of picky, so probably won't be able to see it, but this one still, the stem on it is quite green, and you can even see it's a little springy to the touch, whereas this one is more brown, and it's like it would snap if I bent it. I want to use the one that's a little bit more green. They'll just be a little bit fresher and have a little bit more flavor to them. We're making American biscuits. Yeah. But we're doing a Rice Krispie treat as our kind of like dessert, although
Also American crisps.
yeah. I'm just doing one pass over this. You don't want to beat this into all hell because it's a pretty delicate herb to begin with.
We've been talking about making some like shortbread cookies and biscotti, since we are called biscotti and haven't made them on stream yet.
Oh, here comes a dog, if anyone.
Yeah. Can I see you?
No. Who was asking about it? Oh, Noodle Man, if you're still here. There is a dog. Can be. There's dog in the small camera at least.
Oh.
Not sure if you're still here or not. But
Hi, sweetie.
she is awake now that we're in the kitchen.
You know we're cooking now? Yeah. So for those of us who've watched us before, you've seen our stock bags. I'm putting our parsley and thyme scraps in there. We're getting full again already. We have some broccoli in here from one of our Stirfridays. Maybe just last week.
I think it was last week. Yeah, it was the.
I'm sorry. We'll probably make like a broccoli soup soon. We bought some parsley, onion, broccoli stalks, celery, a little bit of bell pepper, some ginger, some garlic in here. And it's just all scraps from when we cook. So we try to use whatever we can. I don't yet know how to compost. That is a goal of mine. If anybody knows how to do that, I appreciate your knowledge. But that's also something I would like to explore to try to be less wasteful in the kitchen, especially with as much as we can.
Dog will make Rice Krispie treats. I don't know. She probably actually could.
No,
She doesn't yet. No, she could make them.
Oh.
I'm asking when she's gonna make them.
What can you call?
Yeah, you can just have your own camera today. What's that? Alright, she's gonna play now. Alright, I think, let's see. Cut.
Cut and juice.
Juice.
We're checking our noodles now. They are done. We're just gonna let them drain and set them aside. Might even put a little bit of oil on them just so the noodles don't stick. But we will cook the rest of the stir fry and serve them separately. Especially since we bought like 8 people's worth of fish.
Indeed.
Sometimes the challenge of adapting a recipe is really
Yeah, that's a citrus press that we have. I don't know if we have a garlic press.
We got the funky one.
Yeah, this is what we have for a garlic press. It's like a one that you just kind of like push down on.
You don't recommend it.
No, it kind of sucks. Alright, so I think we have everything to at least cut this. Alright, yeah, so I'm gonna move over here.
So we'll start cooking the fish.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird garlic press.
Well, I thought it would be nice because it's easy to clean, but it doesn't push everything forward.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Kimbo is participating in the process tonight by being in the way. First, I'm gonna do just a small pan for the sauce. Oh, thank you. So, how much butter is in there? Alright, we're going to start by melting some butter in a pan. Kimbo is a giant fan of butter. So this is going to be our sauce that we're going to make. Don't eat the paper. Now it is a little dangerous to melt butter over an open flame like this, but we actually want the butter to get a little bit brown.
Alright.
So don't walk away from it when you're doing this process. Definitely want to be vigilant.
Yeah, with all of the fats and liquids in butter, it will burn quickly, but we want it to get a little bit, so we get a little bit brown.
Yeah.
You could also use oil, like grapeseed oil, or if you don't want so much saturated fat.
Yeah, this is a lot of butter. But with how much fish and noodles we're gonna have,
Yeah, that's very true.
it's
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be like an 8 tablespoon per serving.
yeah. Yeah, we're definitely cooking in bulk tonight.
And I think there's something to be said for like having the flavor in your food. which again, I'm not saying like douse everything in butter, but we're getting flavor from the butter and the olives and the capers, and that's going to add so much to the meal that it's going to be so much more satisfying than, you know, just like a pile full of lettuce or cucumbers, which I like lettuce and cucumbers, but, you know, a quarter tablespoon of butter is not going to hurt you if you don't have any like major health issues. And it's going to be very satisfying as far as the flavor goes. Olive oil, though, is also really got a lot of flavor, and it's pretty healthy for you. Another good option. You don't want to heat it this high, though.
See around the edge, it's starting to brown a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and add in our olives and our capers. Oh yeah, this is like enough butter for an army.
A little under a stick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 5 tablespoons that I used.
Yeah, about 3/4 of a cup of butter. No, not even. Half a cup in 1 stick, right?
Yeah. So just over half a cup.
No.
5 tablespoons. Oh, half a cup is a full stick?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well under half.
Yeah.
Less maybe. Like a little more than a quarter.
Yeah. And again, this is going to be like 8 to 10 servings probably.
Yeah. Yeah, we just kind of let all of these flavors combine. I'm just going to leave it in this.
Yeah, again, if you're trying to watch your fat intake or if you're vegan, you could definitely use a different fat. But butter is...
One of the first things they teach you in culinary school is butter makes it better. I don't even think you need to go to culinary school to learn that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, mushrooms and butter are a beautiful match.
Yeah. Well, it's all in balance.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really all we're looking for at this point. I could let it go a little bit longer, but I'm gonna reheat it, and when I do, I'll let it go a little bit.
So we're setting that aside. You can smell like the brine and the salt coming off of that. It's got a nice browning caramelization to it already. And we've got it in the pan, so it is going to continue to cook since it's hot.
What's a keto or keto diet? Do you know what that is?
Oh, for like diabetic ketone, I would assume. I would expect you're trying to lower your sugar intake. In which case, butter is okay for that. I mean, still, you don't want to have like a high increase of fat, but you don't want to have a lot of refined sugars or carbohydrates. Growing up in Los Angeles, I was like entrenched in the low carb fad. While I am a believer of trying to limit your refined sugar intake, I believe that eating fruit is not necessarily a bad thing. But if you are trying to...
Oh, thank you for telling me that. I didn't realize the music was that loud. Thank you.
If you are trying to lower your sugar intake, then you need to be careful about your carbohydrate intake. But fats, you need to be careful also with what type of fat. You know, eating a ribeye steak every night is not necessarily a healthy thing.
Is that a better volume? Fish.
Meat, fat, and veggies. Yeah, so I would say like healthier fats like nuts, avocados, olive oil. I would still go with leaner meats, you know, fish, chicken, leaner cuts of beef. Just trying, if you're like, there are still good fats, but the saturated fat can get unhealthy pretty quickly. And with carbohydrates, I would recommend probably more vegetables than processed carbohydrates, or probably even fruits. You know, you get your greens, get your you know, zucchini or that kind of stuff. I think fruits are still good for you. There's still plenty of other nutrients that you can get from them. But, you know, you could add some spinach to this, or we have some arugula in the fridge, we might add to it. But things like that can add bulk to your meal and also add some nutrients, but with very little actual, like, sugar carbohydrates. The more complex carbohydrates that you're getting from like a vegetable, it's going to have the fiber intake in there that your body is not going to process as a sugar. It's going to break it down in a different way. So, you know, you're not necessarily going to want to add the noodles like we're adding, or add a bunch of rice, but you could add some, you know, vegetables, cabbage, spinach, things like that, that you're going to break down in a different process. You've got the fish in here. What else do you have in here?
Just the fish so far, with some oil. We use some grapeseed oil for this. That way it doesn't overly taint any of the flavor. You could use an olive oil, but it'll have a stronger taste of the olive to it, and we're using the olives in the sauce, so no need to double up on that. Yeah, in America, the protein ratio is so ridiculously out of whack, and portion size is so large.
Both are very out of, everything's out of control. I mean, sodium, sugar, protein, everything. It's just not.
Fat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Switch the cameras and put food cam on you guys instead, since the camera you have now is kind of blurred. Yeah, I've been struggling with my camera setups. Thank you. Like, I'm not gonna fuck with it right now because I'm in the middle of cooking and whatnot, but I've been trying to find ways. It's supposed to be an autofocus camera, the one that's up here, but unfortunately, it's not. I don't know what it's focusing on right now. It might be focusing here instead, and so we get blurred out a little bit. Yes, Popeyes over KFC for sure. I even like Church's better than KFC personally, or at least used to. I don't really eat any of that anymore.
I agree with that.
I feel like putting a camera on my head is, I don't know. I move around too much. I feel like I'd give you guys motion sickness if I did that.
Might be able to mount one like up here or something though.
Yeah.
That would then look over.
Yeah, to have something more over the shoulder.
Yeah.
Alright, so the fish is starting to cook down a little bit. I'm going to add in our thyme, the red onion, and the lemon juice. This will provide the acidity to it. You have McDonald's, Burger King, and KFC. Not a huge fan, really, of any of those three. I don't eat fast food at all anymore, mainly because of her.
I still, though, would say McDonald's because of the apple pie and the McFlurry. And even though I haven't had beef or a burger or anything in like years, the Big Mac is still, yeah.
Add a little bit more salt.
I pick Big Mac over Whopper.
Yeah, Big Mac is,
But I still,
that used to be my go-to.
I haven't had any of them in, I don't even know how long.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder in Sweden what the menus at,
Royale with cheese.
yeah, like what the, so I know, just I've traveled through Europe. I haven't been up to the Nordic areas, but you know, pretty much every McDonald's would have a very different menu than the one previous to it. I know in India, for example, I mean, it's very different because they treat cow as sacred, so there's no beef, so it's, you know, lamb and goat and other animals like that, and very large vegetarian menu because most of their culture is vegetarian.
Yeah.
Oh, you have Pizza Hut too. Unfortunately, I do think too many Americans probably call McDonald's and stuff good food. But yeah, good enough food is definitely...
When here, like, even the schools, the food in the schools is the fast food. Like, Pizza Hut is the school lunch, McDonald's is the school lunch.
Yeah, a lot of those fast food chains, because they have so much money, get their way into a school and then force their way onto the menu and provide a lot of options. And I mean, to a little kid, especially with all the advertising that happens here, they see it, they want to have it, and then, yeah, it's a really shitty cycle.
And just even if you offer a healthy option next to it, like, a 10-year-old kid is not going to pick a salad over a McDonald's burger. So.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, I don't know. Mrs. Biscotti and I are pretty old at this point, but at least when I was younger, it was very prevalent. I never ate it. My mom always made me a lunch. Tended to be something. I mean, it still wasn't crazy healthy, but you know, turkey sandwich with lettuce and tomato and a little bag of chips, but a hell of a lot better than, you know, a burger that's not even, you know, just such processed meat. I'm actually going to get rid of some of the liquid in this pan. Turning more into a stew at this point.
I started making my own lunch when I was in like 1st or 2nd grade. And that's one of the things that's gotten me into cooking from a pretty young age is just my family didn't grow up cooking in the household, and we ate a lot of fast food, and I did not like that. My parents both worked really long hours. They did not know how to cook, and when I was like 11 or 12 was when the Food Network first started. And it was not like it is now. It was actually people teaching you how to cook. It wasn't so much just entertainment. And so I started learning how to cook based on that. I would see people making recipes, and I would go find the ingredients and try to cook meals for myself, including my own lunch. But I started making my own lunches when I was a very little kid, but also very simple stuff. But even the lunches, at least when I went to school, it wasn't the fast food chains, but it was still like Sloppy Joe's, burgers, pizza. It wasn't healthy stuff, but it wasn't the chains. It definitely wasn't like lunch lady cooked food. It was frozen, prepared stuff, but it wasn't like what you see today with vending machines and corporate.
By the time we got to high school, it was definitely the corporate stuff had taken over, vending machines. And...
Yeah.
So I just added a bunch of parsley to it. A white fish, when you just kind of cook it by itself, is very white and kind of boring. So the green from the parsley will kind of spruce it up some and give it some extra color to work with. And some of the fish will break up a little bit as you cook it, and that's totally fine. Because this is going to go on top of those noodles. And then that brown butter, olive, and caper sauce that we made. Yeah, Julia Child, Jacques Pepin, and Yan Can Cook are all... Like, I wish that's what Food Network still was.
I remember watching, particularly Julia Child and Yan on like PBS as a little kid. Jacques Pepin I didn't discover until I was a little bit older, but
Hey, D-Rec.
I wish that's what people knew of the Food Network now. Because when I tell people that I watch it, they're like, "Oh, well, it's just Guy Fieri."
Yeah, all these awful personalities that it's like it's become entertainment. It hasn't
Yeah.
become about the food.
It's hard to watch it and like actually learn about how to cook things, and that's what it's meant to be. But I do recommend, if anybody likes to read, Jacques Pepin, his autobiography is excellent. And I'm trying to remember what it's called. Julia Child, My Life in France is great. And then Jacques Pepin, I can't remember the title of his autobiography, but both of them are really interesting reads.
Yeah, the Food Network on Twitch often has Jacques Pepin.
Yeah.
And it's oftentimes with his daughter Claudine, and she is always just in the way and fucking shit up, and like the chat gets so mad at her. It's like, get the fuck out of the way, Claudine. And but yeah, that's Jacques. He's awesome.
Well, they both were really good friends.
Yeah, Jacques and Julia Child. Every once in a while you'll actually get to catch a show of them. I actually wish they played more of those. That was one of my favorite series.
And they also were very close with James Beard, who, if you know, like the James Beard Award, they all kind of were contemporaries of each other. And so that was one of the things I found interesting about both of their autobiographies, was learning about that relationship and how James Beard kind of came to his own, and now that's such a big deal, and kind of learning about how he was discovering people. It was kind of cool. Like Jacques Pepin talks about cooking on the line at some like hotel in New York and just getting yelled at and like some guy, you know, telling him he's doing everything wrong, and he goes home thinking he's like the worst cook in the world, and like now look at him, he's, you know, revered by everybody, and he has this experience in, I think it was like a Howard Johnson.
It was a chain hotel.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Howard Johnson that he worked his way up through, but just like starts as like grunt worker line cook, moves from France to New York to work at, you know, at Howard Johnson in like 1970. So like not at all fancy food. He's cooking like pancakes and, you know, it was kind of an inspiring story. And Julia Child, like she grew up very privileged, was kind of like a socialite in Southern California, but didn't want that lifestyle, and so she did her own thing. She worked for the U.S. Military, moved to Europe, met her husband, who I think was like a journalist or also a military guy, and like just decided to go to culinary school in France when she was like in her 30s, mid 30s, and that was in like the late 40s or early 50s, I think.
I don't put the spoon, I mean, it doesn't fit in this one. It would fit here, but it would go into the flame, and kind of the same on this side. You could rest it like this, but you're likely to get some burn marks on it. I really like my wood spoons, so I tend to always put them off to the side. If I was working with like a bigger pot, that might be okay, but with a wok, you're getting the flame coming up the side of it some, and that's why I'm not putting it in there. So now I'm just reheating that sauce that we had made with the capers and the olives and the garlic. Working with pot? Actually, I do work with pot quite a bit. I live in a state where it is legal to consume marijuana recreationally. And I work with a teaching program to educate people on how to understand dosing within edibles, because that's a huge problem here. People come here and they don't understand that when you eat edibles that they take a lot longer to affect you than smoking it does.
You're not at Willy Wonka.
Yeah, and so like they end up consuming way too much because they only wait maybe 10 or 15 minutes and they don't feel it working, so they continue to consume more. And then an hour and a half later, they can't move. So,
and they smoke while they eat.
Yeah, exactly, and they're smoking while they're eating it. So, bad combo. So I work with a group that kind of teaches responsibility in understanding the edibles, teaching people how to make a very clean product with it. There's a lot of misconceptions. Yeah, no, I mean I actually plan on doing a stream on cooking with cannabis at some point. I want to get the material a little bit more buttoned up since it's a class that I actually teach to people. Plus, it's a paid class, whereas Twitch is free. So I feel kind of bad taking that material that's paid for and then putting it on a free channel. So. Yeah, so we've got our nice little sauce here. And we'll go ahead and pour this onto the fish.
Yeah, they've had a big increase in like ambulance calls and stuff.
Yeah, I have a buddy who works for the fire department, and I mean, so many of his calls are people who overconsumed edibles and freak out. Ooh, shit. Yeah, so that's essentially our white fish with the capers and olives. with it, and then we added some red onion and all sorts of good stuff. So the way that we would serve this is we're just going to use some of those noodles that we cooked, put that as the base, and then just a little bit of this on top. Like I said, this is going to be, I mean, this is probably about 8 portions for us. This is a ton of food for us. I tend to consume more of the carbs than the protein. So this will be a good meal that'll last us pretty much all through the weekend. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and kind of put this off to the side.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't want to eat it with the noodles, you could serve this with some broccoli or some spinach or...
I did not actually drop food, it fell into the range, so if it fell on the food, she would absolutely be in here. You put hash and chocolate balls, didn't heat it. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not going to get into the whole science of everything right now, but to get marijuana to work in an edible format, you have to do a process called decarboxylation, which means you're removing... No, be careful.
I'm trying to get it out of there.
It's fine. We'll get it when it cools down. You have to remove the moisture and you have to remove the carbon dioxide, and you're bringing all of the oils up to the surface. Marijuana needs heat to go through a transformation with the THC to become the true delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, and
but he's not going to get technical.
Exactly. Well, I don't want to get like too crazy with it. I want to save it all for one big stream. But yes, you have to cook it at a certain temperature, decarboxylate it, and then infuse it into something, and then use that as your base, and like understand dosing and portion control.
It's basically like 2 molecules that you're breaking into other molecules in order to make it be effective.
Do we prepare food for the whole week in a day? We used to, actually, a lot more than we do now. I would say we do it kind of twice a week, where, like I said, this is about 8 portions, so between the 2 of us, this is 4 meals. So we'll probably have it through the weekend, maybe even into Monday, and then make another meal that'll kind of last us through the, Monday to Thursday, and then again, Friday, last us till Monday. So that's kind of been our process lately. But I'm going to start working on the biscuits, so I'm going to swing the camera back around to the other side.
Yeah, since I'm a student, I tend to eat lunch either on campus or at home, which helps us consume food pretty easily. We also try to cook stuff that kind of sounds good to us. Morning, afternoon, evening. That's why we're cooking the biscuits tonight. The fish is going to be good, either cold or hot, so it'll be good for lunch or dinner.
Yeah, if you are new to the channel and you're enjoying the content, please hit that follow button. We do try to stream at least twice a week, sometimes even 3 times a week. It just kind of depends on how things are going. I work a full-time job. Mrs. Biscotti's going back to school, so it is a little bit hard to have like a regular schedule. But we make sure to always have some content. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just checking. Let's see, so for the 4th of July, we made a bunch of stuff. We had a very long stream, actually, that we did the weekend before to potentially give people ideas if they were going to a barbecue, etc. And we did... Sorry, I'm just moving this around. That's a little better. We did a rice salad that had oranges and olives in it.
Almonds.
And almonds.
Cornbread.
Cornbread.
Vegan chili.
A vegan chili.
Strawberry bread.
Strawberry bread. Oh yeah, the strawberry bread was amazing.
Which we made s'mores with it, and we made strawberry shortcake with it. I think that's everything.
We made 5 things. I feel like we're still missing one, but that might have been everything. Oh, the veggie skewers.
Oh,
we made like vegetable skewers that would go on a barbecue.
Yeah, we cooked them on the grill pan. There were mushrooms, tomatoes, leeks.
No Mexican corn now, we just used kind of regular. Is that a guy? Oh, it's actually my mom's hands. Way, holding like a clump of dirt with a seedling in it. I lost my mom to cancer when I was in my 20s, and so everything on my left arm is for her. All right. So, I'm going to be putting a lot of this through a sifter first, so it's just kind of got a nice thing that incorporates some air and finally sifts everything. Yes, thank you.
We also used, like, we've got flour. Just like a basic sieve. If you don't have anything, it's not a huge deal. They just won't turn out as
fluffy. Yeah,
But,
it just helps to incorporate the air and go through like a finer process. I'm gonna leave the flour out because I'm gonna need the flour cutting board to roll them out.
Like the one like I just showed you, they even sell them at like the dollar store or whatever. So yeah, sugar you put through that too. So you can get something that's pretty affordable to serve the same purpose. We use a teeny tiny little one to drain the capers. I mean, we've got a lot of tools on hand since we cook as frequently as you do, or as we do, but you can get some pretty basic things to serve all of the same purpose and not have as many things on hand. When we moved, we definitely downsized with our tools, and it's been kind of nice.
Why is there a wall? Oh, there's actually on this side of the wall, on the other side, it's a staircase that goes down into our basement. So it's like a two-way staircase. Yeah, it's kind of a funky setup, but it actually works pretty well for us.
Yeah, so that you don't fall to your death.
Yeah, so it's essentially like a banister. Thank you.
Yeah, like, oh, you can't see here, so you can do the stair check.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really work. Hey, Sandwich, how are you? Thanks for coming by. No worries, we're happy to have you now. Twitch is stupid. I've been fighting with Twitch a lot lately. Please.
So the nice thing about our cup measurers is that they all stack together. The frustrating thing is we don't ever know which one is which. But we've also only had them for a little while, so we're getting used to them. I'm gonna make some love.
How are you tonight, Sandwich? So again, I'm just sifting all of this together so it'll incorporate some air into this and just kind of run it through a fine grate. You can kind of see it falling through. And this was just salt, sugar, flour, and a little bit of baking powder to act as the leavening agent.
Kim was like falling off.
Yeah, you understand what we're saying. I actually have a good friend that I play video games with that I met through Twitch, who is from Norway. That's kind of, he gives me insight into that Nordic region. Okay, so we've got this. Add cold milk and mix.
So I've got a giant mason jar here that I just poured our sugar into.
Norway's not your friend, being out there? Is that like how we think of Canada or Mexico, I guess? Well, you speak very, very good English and are understanding us trying to explain things very well, so...
Spoken like a true American.
Whatever. Wait, where's the cup tool?
I didn't take it.
No, I know. I wasn't accusing you. So now I'm adding in... Just making sure it was a cup. I'm using almond milk because I have an allergy to casein, which is milk protein. I probably could use regular milk and be okay because the protein structure changes as you cook it. But we have almond milk readily available in our house. So.
Yeah, we don't ever really have plain milk.
Yeah.
We do have some buttermilk, actually.
I'd rather. I'm just gonna mix this around to start making the dough.
Norway is Sweden's spoiled little sister.
You don't get along? Okay, well, I'm sorry I said that then. I was trying to give you something to relate to and I offended you. I'm sorry.
Hashtag America.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Actually, I knew. So my day job. My day job is actually working at an advertising agency now. I did work in restaurants for a while, but ultimately decided to leave then actually when my mother was ill. Just wasn't working out with how much time and how little money I was making. Anyway, one of my sales reps is from Sweden actually. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but earlier in my career, he was one of the nicest people. He always would take care of me well, and so...
Yeah, isn't Sweden like one of the happiest countries in the world?
Mm-hmm. It's like Sweden, Denmark.
Yeah, Denmark I think is like...
Yeah, Denmark's super high up there. Okay, good. Oh, true, yeah, you probably just don't get offended at all. You're Canadian like that. It's like... and yes, that is my allergy. So, it's kind of a weird allergy. Most people are lactose intolerant. Lactose is milk sugar. I'm actually more allergic to the casein that's in it, which is milk protein. Again, the good thing with it is I can often eat things that have milk in it if it's been cooked. So, you know, like a lot of baked goods, because as it goes through the cooking process, much like I was describing earlier with the marijuana, as you cook items, their chemical compound changes. And
I can explain that.
Again, we'll save this for another.
Was it like for people who are lactose intolerant or casein intolerant, you don't have the enzyme that can break down either of those, either the sugar or the protein. And when it gets cooked, the sugar or the protein gets broken down, and so you don't need as much of the enzyme in your body in order to break it down. And so that's why, like, when he has something that has milk in it that's been cooked, it's been broken down already, and so he doesn't need as much of the protein in his, like, digestive system to process it, because it's already been essentially digested by the cooking process.
Denmark, Ireland, Sweden, Canada, sorry, but America is Norway. We're the spoiled little sister. Kind of makes sense, actually.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that.
So, a kind of shortcut that I'm taking, when you're working with a dough like this, if any of you were experienced bakers, there's a process called cutting the dough. So you would kind of have your dough in this kind of consistency here, where I've started with my wet ingredients, I've started with my dry ingredients, I've sifted them, I've added in the wet ingredients, and then do we have a cutter? I don't think we have one, but there's a tool called a dough cutter or butter cutter, and essentially it's like a hand press that has some metal pieces on it, and essentially you put cold butter in and you start cutting it into the dough. It's fine. kind of a poor man's shortcut, since we don't really have the tool and I'm just kind of lazy, is yes, the one with the rounded blades, exactly.
Yeah.
What I did is
it's like that.
yeah, kind of like that, with like a handle up here, and you would push it that way, and it would like cut the butter into the dough. A shortcut that I'm taking is you always want to be working with cold ingredients when doing this process, so I froze the butter, or at least put it in the freezer for half an hour, 45 minutes, and I'm going to just use a cheese grater and grate the butter into it, and it'll kind of put it in similar consistency, and I'll just kind of fold it in and incorporate it a little bit that way. Shit, how much am I supposed to use though?
5 tablespoons.
5 tablespoons, okay.
Especially, it's so warm today. Like, it was about 95 degrees here today. It's pretty warm in our house since we've been cooking.
And I mean, you have to remember too, even your body temperature is, 98, almost 99 degrees. And so as you even just touch it with your hands, it's gonna warm it up very quickly. So that's when I used to work in more, professional setting. Oftentimes when I was doing baking, I would just do it within the walk-in refrigerator, so that way my dough always stayed cold. But yeah, you can see it's kind of like shaving in the butter.
Yeah. That's a good idea, actually, to put the grater in the freezer as well.
Yeah, that is a good idea. I should have done that.
Again, especially, it's pretty hot in our kitchen right now.
Yeah, this butter's gonna melt very quickly, and you don't really want that. You want it to kind of keep its form.
We could have put the bowl in the freezer too, especially since we're using a metal bowl. It would have chilled down nice and quickly.
Yeah. Oh well. Things we can do next time. I'm gonna start by using the spatula, because the spatula again is gonna be cooler than my hand is, to incorporate these kind of flecks of butter. So I'm just kind of doing the cement mixer thing, just to try and fold it in somewhat gently. Distribute it. You want it to be somewhat evenly distributed through. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start kneading this now. So I need to turn this out onto our cutting board. Actually, first, we're gonna dust it with flour.
And of course, if we had like a marble or a granite countertop, we'd be doing it straight on the countertop. But
Yeah, that would be ideal. And again, that's something that you can even cool down. What we used to do is we would take we had these ice rings. They were used to cool down soup. They were basically these big sticks that you would put into your soup to cool it down quickly. And we would run those over the marble in the kitchen and help it cool down very quickly.
yeah, we've like just frozen water bottles before to do the same thing to soup. You could do that to your counter.
Yeah, you could do the butter process in the food processor too.
Mm-hmm.
That totally works. I just didn't want the extra piece of electrical equipment running. Ooh, making a mess. So I'm just kneading this a little bit to try and get that butter to be distributed within. I'm kind of creating layers in the dough.
And again, be careful how much you do this. You want to get everything incorporated, but you don't want to heat it up too much.
Too much. So now I'm gonna fold in the blueberries.
Pizza stone would probably work, actually.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. I've never thought of that.
It would stay nice and cold. It should be relatively non-stick. You'd probably still want to put a little bit of flour on it, but that would be a pretty good surface. It would stay nice and cold. It's nice and big. Yeah. Would maybe give us a little more surface than what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, a big part of my problem right now is I just don't have a lot of space to work with. So I'm...
Yeah, we actually have a pizza stone, so we can maybe make these again and
try that method. I like that idea.
That's a good idea.
So these blueberries have the lemon zest on them from the lemon that we used in our fish. So we were using, kind of all of the product.
You could probably even put the pizza stone in the freezer to chill it down.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you totally helped. That's a great idea.
I've seen too, I think it was Jamie Oliver actually, who showed making pizza, and instead of buying a pizza stone, he went to his like local just like tile granite store and bought an off slab of stone. And I don't remember exactly if it was slate or granite or what he bought, but instead of purchasing a pizza stone, he just got, they cut all the big tiles for like kitchen counters and whatever, and so they always have just offcuts, and he got a piece of stone to use as a pizza stone from them, and that would work quite well for something like this too. Like if you just don't want, if you don't like us have a counter or marble countertop, going to like a tile or marble store and asking them if they have any offcuts like that, it wouldn't be very expensive, and then you'd have something to use just for rolling stuff out, or even as a pizza stone. Pretty sure it was Jamie Oliver.
So I'm just gonna butter up a little bit cookie sheet. Usually when I work with cookie sheets, I put either parchment paper or
the unglazed
foil.
berry tiles.
You see that still kind of? I'll show you as I go, but when working with the biscuits, we want to make sure they get a nice golden brown on the bottom. So I'm just gonna break the dough up some, just kind of form a biscuit. You could absolutely cut, roll this out a little bit more and cut the biscuits with like a circle cutter.
Since we've got the fresh berries in there though, it's nice to form them by hand.
Yeah, I tend to like more of a rustic look and feel to my biscuits. I'm just like, tearing off some knobs, using a little bit of the flour from our surface. Yeah, Sandwich. I'm not surprised. Sandwich is a very experienced. Yeah, I mean he's handy, and he's got some good like home cooking experience. He cooks a lot at home, so I'm not surprised that he has a good.
You don't have to spend $50 on a pizza stone.
Yeah, and Sandwich, I want to thank you. You always are so nice to me when I come into Tippy's stream and making sure that I feel welcome and providing some like giving me shout outs and hyping up my stream and hers. I really do always appreciate that. You're a nice guy, Sandwich. How long are biscuits good for? I mean, a homemade biscuit like this, I mean, it depends. If you keep it in the fridge, probably a week, honestly. Yeah. If you leave them out at room temperature, probably more like
3 days.
Yeah, it was 3, maybe 4 at the max.
With as much butter as in them, especially with the blueberries.
Yeah, they'll go a little bit quicker.
I would keep them in the fridge. Airtight container, like, Tupperware, Ziploc bag or something like that. But, I'd say if there were no fruit in them, they might even go up to like 10 days in the fridge. They're of course going to get a little bit dry, and it also depends on if you've got, these are going to be more like dense biscuit versus the flaky biscuit, which is probably not going to last quite as long. But you're looking at probably 5 to 8 days, I would say, in the fridge.
7 to 12 minutes. We'll do it for 7 again. All right, so biscuits are in the oven. Those will really only take a few minutes. They won't take long. 7 to 12 minutes. I left them a little bit thicker, so they'll probably take closer to the 12-minute mark. I also like my biscuits to be a little bit extra golden, like not burnt, but
Got soggy bottom biscuit lover.
Yeah.
I think of Fat Bottom Girls, the Queen song.
so
Make the rocket world go round.
next up, we are going to work on our Rice Krispie treats.
I don't know what you think.
Not much. It's pretty easy. This is why I like them so much.
Yes, milk and biscuits. I like cornbread and biscuits too. Biscuits and gravy is one of the things I miss about eating meat. I love the biscuits and gravy.
So I'm gonna move you guys over here. So as I was mentioning before too, you know, with teaching that cooking with cannabis class, I lost my train of thought. Sorry. Oh, we make these every time for our students, and they obviously always have cannabis in them. So I want to make some unmedicated ones, so I can eat a bunch. Yeah. We so Mrs. Biscotti a long time ago cut out most meat. Only recently have I given up most of it. I do fish, eggs, tofu, etc. So I mean, technically we're pescatarian, but we've given up red meat, pork, chicken, poultry, you know, all that stuff. So yeah, no, we did make the fish. So yes, we still do eat fish, but Americans do tend to eat a lot of red meat and pork and chicken, and we've removed that from our diets. Where'd that stick of butter go?
Oh, I put it in the fridge, I'm sorry. Yeah, just I stopped eating red meat and pork several years ago now. And the chicken has been or poultry rather, has been probably about 6 months. So, you know, it's been a transition. But we still eat.
Still do eat.
Eggs. But we try to eat, you know, responsibly sourced eggs.
Shit, the cup measuring tool is dirty.
It's not. This is. We eat very little cheese, but we do eat eggs. I try to get pasture-raised eggs, not just cage-free eggs, but actually pasture-raised eggs. And dairy, like milk or cheese, is very, very minimal. Just with his case and allergy, it's just not really worth it to like for me to try to eat it. I eat it occasionally.
Hey, what's up, Kate? Oh shit, thanks for the host. Oh, sorry for cussing too. Kate runs a PG stream, so thank you very much. Yes, thank you. Hello, everybody. You caught us kind of towards the end here. We've got, so as everyone floods in, thank you so much for that raid. I appreciate it. We've got some pasta that we cooked. That is going to go with a whitefish. So Kate, look away. It's a whitefish, onion, caper, green olive, garlic, lots of parsley, stir fry that we made. It's got like a brown butter sauce to it. We have some blueberry biscuits. in the oven right now. And I'm making some Rice Krispie treats. I was just explaining because I always make these in my Cooking with Cannabis class, and they're always medicated. And I want some non-medicated ones.
We're allowed one S word.
Okay, we're allowed one S word. I don't know if Kate's gonna agree with that. But whatever. My stream is not PG, but I don't want the first thing. Her
They're all
stream.
like PG, or what's it called? NC-17.
Yeah.
Maybe like somewhere between PG-13 and R.
Can you get the here? Yeah. One of these and spray it, please. Thank you. You're distracted anyways. How was your stream today, Kate? So in this, I'm just melting the marshmallows with some, I'm using some butter. You could use some oil if you prefer, just to kind of make a fluff.
So I just sprayed a square pan with like canola cooking spray, and I did it over the sink, because if you do it over the floor, you might get it on the floor, and then you might break bones. So I did it over the sink. And Kate, I thought of you because we were making fish, and then I felt bad. And we almost made something with a lot of eggs.
Yeah, we almost went in. We almost went in with a bunch of eggs, but we didn't. So I even thought of you as we got rid of them. I was like, oh, Kate would appreciate if she was able to watch.
Yeah. So at least we only like did 1/3 stuff that you can't
Yeah.
eat. And it's not already.
All right, so we've got our fluff coming together here. It's a nice bright white. We'll go ahead and kill the heat.
And don't test it because it will burn you.
Yeah, and because it's like a sugar base, it'll stick to you, and that's kind of
bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
Like blister and yeah.
Biscuits, they're looking good, but they need
Big.
more time. Yeah, I went for big ones.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. It's good to give us time to work on this too. So now we're gonna go ahead and add our topping. For this, I'm gonna make the mint chocolate chip. So we've got some Andes chunks. A little more than a handful.
Those were Andes mint chips. He added about 1/3 of the bag.
Smells so good.
And they're just melting into the...
Yeah, so you can see it's actually changed its color now. It's all that chocolate has melted into it.
Yeah.
Asbestos hands? Yeah, I've got... My hands are pretty crazy because I just, working with heat for as long as I did, basically melted off my fingertips. Now we do... Huh?
You use them all?
I don't think so. We do 6 cups. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my god, it's slippery. And 6.
That's 6 cups of Rice Krispies. Or rice cereal treats if you're watching something.
And we're just gonna incorporate all this together. What's that?
It always makes me laugh when like you watch some official show and they're making Rice Krispies.
I'll make sure I can grab this well.
Rice cereal treats.
So again, we do like cement mixer. All this, it's a good workout for your arms. You want to make sure you incorporate all of that marshmallow filling into the treats so you get a nice even mix.
And that you have melted all of the butter and stuff first.
Yeah.
I did that one time before and or didn't do that one time before and it gross.
Oh, so it's starting to come together now. How's the cooking going? Oh, cooking's going well. Thanks for asking. Yeah, question spam. Easy there. I'm working on some Rice Krispie treats. These are mint chocolate.
After dinner Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, the after dinner mint. That's pretty good. We're gonna put these in our greased pan. I'll move this camera for a minute, sorry.
So we sprayed this with some cooking spray over the sink. And you can see they're already kind of hardening a little bit already.
Stay in. Swedish Nordic canned fish food. Oh, the thing that I make fun of my friend for in Norway is a thing called lutefisk. It looks so nasty. I don't know if it's canned, but it's a white fish, and it just looks awful.
Have you eaten gefilte fish?
I tried it once. I did not like it.
Did you have the sweet gefilte fish or not sweet?
I don't know. Sharon gave it to me.
She probably had the sweet.
Is that good or bad?
I prefer the not sweet.
Alright, so our biscuits are starting to come together. They still need some more time though. Probably should have made them smaller, but whatever. Shit happens.
I think the recipe said it made 12 to 15. And
oh, really?
8.
Well, that happens. So you're going to want to let this cool probably a little bit longer. It's still pretty hot to the touch, and it will stick to you a little bit, but you want to press it down all up in your shit.
You can also use a spatula or something.
Yeah, you could, but I like to get the force of my weight on it. Try and get it nice and even in the corners. And there's our Rice Krispie treat. I'm gonna go ahead and pop it in the freezer for a minute. Let it kind of come together.
Looking into everybody's soul again. So don't forget about it when it's in the freezer.
Yeah.
Because that can happen. And it'll be in there. Yeah, you could also put like some wax paper or even some plastic wrap or something on top to give yourself a little bit of protection while you're doing that if you needed to. Again, just a rubber spatula or a wooden spoon or something would also work quite fine because that was probably pretty hot. And again, since it's sticky, it's likely to stick to your hands.
What?
Are you getting it torched?
In case we need it to pop out the thing.
All the tools. You want to plate up a dish of this?
Sure. Are these clean?
They were just in the middle.
Okay. So, plate up some of this pasta. It's gonna stick together a little bit because it's been just hanging out for a while, and that's fine.
We should put a little bit of oil in there to kind of...
Oh, I thought you did.
I thought... We both thought the other one did.
So
that's what happens.
Yeah. So, some pasta. Some of our stir fry. nicely. And boom! There's dinner. See if it focuses here a little bit. Kinda. You get it?
Wait.
Oh, yeah. Now that we have a little break.
Yeah, if you wanted to use a meat other than fish, you could have used either ground or sliced chicken, turkey too.
We're starting to get there now. Brown. Yeah, that's fine.
Smell the blueberries. Looking at the Rice Krispie treat.
Yeah, sorry. I'm all up in your shit.
So yeah, we're looking for the biscuits to be like firm throughout, golden on top. We could have made them probably about half the size.
Shh. It's fine. It's good.
They look good.
Yeah, they do look good. They're gonna be breakfast. That's like a meal in itself right there.
It is a meal in itself, but
I would make. Can you eat octopus?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. So, on top of all of our other issues, Mrs. Biscotti is allergic to shellfish.
Well, but maybe we're gonna see.
Yeah, it's like an old allergy, but it might actually be stress related or something else that she hasn't tested in a long time.
So we're gonna find out. It's been like 20 years.
I would like to start with the octopus because she's had calamari.
And calamari, I'm fine.
Yeah, and calamari she's fine with. So that leads me to
I can probably have.
Yeah, the octopus, that leads me to believe that that would be fine. Mollusks would probably be the next step after that. So if it goes well with the octopus, then we can do that.
Yeah.
I have a
We're
really...
gonna start with shrimp,
Yeah.
but then we'll go to real mollusks.
Yeah. Yeah, we can go with like bipods and
Yeah,
all sorts of good
clams,
stuff.
scallops, stuff like that.
Yeah. Mussels are my personal favorite. I have a good like mussels with green onion and butter, and yeah, it's good. And then you make the like long toast points for it, sop up all that goodness. Thank you for that, host turtle. I appreciate it.
I miss shellfish terribly, so if
Yeah.
I can eat it.
It would just be nice to open up a lot more for us.
Yeah.
That would give us opportunity to have quite a few extra dishes. So, yeah. Okay, I can probably pop this out actually. Okay.
These are, yeah, they're already, the pan is very cool, and this is like room temperature to the touch.
Can you get that wooden cutting board? Please. Thank you. Yeah, I eat a lot of shellfish, especially when I'm at lunch. Like if I'm at a business lunch, that's become kind of my go-to. It's like shellfish pasta. It's something that I've worked with a lot. Most of my restaurant experience is working in various Mediterranean style cuisine, whether it's, south of France, Spanish and Italian, so there's definitely a lot of shellfish that's used in that. So I have quite a bit of good experience working with those ingredients. Didn't even need the torch. So yeah, you can see got a nice square Rice Krispie treat then. That's, you know, again, from like being able to press it down with my hands, that I feel like helps with that. I'm just gonna cut this up. It's kind of a weird angle, so these pieces probably aren't gonna be all that even, but there we go.
And you could also make these pieces smaller.
No way.
It's a big Rice Krispie treat.
No way, that's perfect. It's like the size of the palm of your hand.
That's a big Rice Krispie treat.
It's my size.
Alright.
We can make them like Petit Four style if you really want.
That row. Let's make them all.
Those 2 rows. Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of a weird angle I'm cutting at, so it's hard to make even cuts. Is that better?
Yes. You're gonna have this and a biscuit for breakfast.
Yep. No, I'm gonna have
fish.
I'm gonna have that and a biscuit for breakfast.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm gonna have one of the big ones.
I know.
But no way, I'm gonna eat all these. I could eat this whole pan right now. I love Rice Krispie treats. I do occasionally bring in, especially the baked goods, desserts and whatnot. I'll bring those into work to share with people. Oh yeah, there we go. And there's our biscuits. Look at that timing. It's like it was meant to be. So, there's our biscuits. Move this over, sorry. So they've got a nice golden brown to them. Yeah, they're not sticking. I would like to actually see the bottom of one of them to make sure. So again, asbestos hands comes in handy with this. Oh yeah. So, it's gonna be hard for me to flip it, but I can see on the bottom it's got a nice golden brown to it too. So yeah, these will make some really nice, very large blueberry biscuits. So, I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. Thank you to the new viewers and followers. I really appreciate it. We'll continue to grow our little community more and more. And really my goal is just to hopefully teach one person one new thing every time. Oh, sorry.
Say hi.
And at least get to hang out with Miss Kimbo and with the wife. But yeah, again, I hope everyone had fun. I thank you all for hanging out, and yeah, we will be back in hopefully a few days with another stream. Hope everyone enjoyed and continues to have fun in the chat and provide a fun environment for us to continue to broadcast to you guys with. So, yeah. Oh, hey Shorty. No, we have not made homemade dog treats yet, but
I have recipes.
yeah, we can do that if that's something you're interested in. That would be something that I'm sure Kimbo would enjoy very much.
And if there are any dog allergies, I'm happy to oblige. That was my life before being a nutrition major, was actually working in the pet supply world. So I am also very passionate about that as well. So
Yeah. Well, thanks again, everybody. We'll be back soon. Yeah. Bye-bye.